The biggest lesson that the American Revolution taught us is we don't know the meaning of a historical event until much later after it happened. Much later after it happened. When the American Revolution occurred in 1776, it seemed as though the people who made the revolution and the world who was witnessing the revolution did not think this was a significant world event. It seemed like a dispute between England and some people in a colony in this new land. In fact, no one would have predicted that this new country, the United States, would become the leading country in the world and an independent country. So whenever these people received their independence, perhaps they would have just joined the other countries in the world, but not have been a significant power. It did not seem as though there was going to be any major influence. And in fact, the revolution did not seem like it was going to be significant for the world because usually a revolution has a wider consequence naturally, but this is even called a conservative revolution. It seems the reason is because when the revolution occurred and the Constitution was made for this revolution, it only benefited originally a few people, and it did not look as though there would be any larger group of people to benefit. So even the historian Charles Beard, who wrote a famous book about the American Constitution, he said that it was very obvious from the beginning that the Constitution was not made for any of the slaves in the United States. It wasn't made for anybody who was doing servant work. It did not grant protections for women, and if people did not have property, it did not seem as though those people were going to benefit either from this revolution. Again, the big lesson about this event is if it did not occur, then you would not have this independent nation that is the United States, and it could never have been the world superpower. It was fueled by Enlightenment ideas, but it did not seem extremely significant at the time. Now, much later, after the revolution, now a few hundred years later, it seems to be as significant to the world, maybe more than the French Revolution, which had a more immediate impact on the world.